Welcome on another warm-up show on the great evening of the Friday night, January 13, 2023 already. Welcome back. This is the Hockey Coach, your coach Francis directly for the beautiful country of Thailand. We have to go all the way to find our co-host. Sit downtown in Toronto waiting for the snow maybe, who knows. But he's back with us, Mr. ENORTAP. Welcome back in the show.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. On this wonderful Friday, January 13th. Not a busy night tonight, but an interesting one for sure.
I just want to mention this, don't go under the ladder. 13, Friday. Just be careful. I just want to say that. You know what I mean?
Don't look about black cats,
Yeah, something like that.
Don't step on the sidewalk with a crack
maybe
on
you
it.
need a black cat for our prediction tonight. Will be interesting. It's happening. 3 games in our tap on the program tonight
That's
in
it.
NHL. Easy night, and then last night 12 of them.
Good news.
We have a lot of people performing yesterday, Mr. On tap. One of them, Yamo Vartanen, with a solid 9-3.
Yes, indeed.
It
Very
did not
good
start.
record.
It did not start that way at the beginning of the night. I think we have a lot of a team was beat other team we wasn't expect, but again it turned around to be a little bit better what my expectation was. Without the victory of the Colorado, could be a 9-3. I predict that Detroit would beat the Toronto by 2 Toronto because I'm chicken. But at the end of the day, it's happening yesterday around the NHL. We have a lot
It's
of
the
talk to talk.
Leafs.
We have a lot of things to talk about, Mr. Natap. Tonight, and then the next one of the boss, Mr. is John Mickelson. Congratulations for John to be with Yamo and the boss. So then we are back at 9 o'clock, Mr. Tap. We're going to talk about the NHL awards for the half season, and then we're going to talk about the disappointment and the surprise in the beginning of the season. So we're going to talk about hockey from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock. And that's what we got on the program tonight so we don't do any play-by-play game, Mr. ENORTAP. But
Sounds
before
good.
before we start, we welcome everybody. We have a few people knock the door, so let's go back with Mr. Rick Bengal directly from Halifax.
Welcome, Rick.
Then we have Melissa somewhere, somehow, maybe possibility of Florida, Michigan, or between both. Welcome back. Speed recovery. Feel
Welcome,
better.
Melissa.
And back. No deal, but sometimes you have a deal, but we have only the real deal, Mr. Natap. And knock the door right now.
Hey, Real. Welcome aboard.
Talking about the boss man. Welcome back from Finland, Yamo Vartanen.
Moi, Yarmo.
Modérateur de Hockey Nation Show, back somewhere, somehow, Mr. Luciano Graziano.
Hey, Luch. I know. Hey, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh play tonight. Yep, Pittsburgh play. And our friend William McCleary, Mr. Natap, knock the door.
Hey, William. How's it going?
And then, interesting, we have to knock the door. Said Ellen Keeve for Newfoundland. What's up with your background tonight, Coach? What happening with the New York Islanders? Because the next game is Montreal play is at New York Islanders. So I want to make some, because it's a Friday 13. So I want to get some kind of value, the voodoo for the Islanders to just express him right now. This, oh my God. And then I want to send some kind of mindset to them, visualization, everything like that. So Montreal can win 3-2 Saturday night, but will be interesting what happening about this Mr. ENORTAP. But welcome back, Ellen. Thanks for with us. Yep, that's happening about this. Nice pass was overall game for him. Question for Yamo. You maybe get that answer right away, Mr. ENORTAP.
I thought overall it was good. I mean, it's not like he chewed up a lot of ice time, but
No, he
the
did
time
not.
that he played, the time that he played, I didn't see anything negative, and he did have a very nice assist.
On the
I thought,
Derby Dock.
yeah. So that's what we got to keep doing, is playing a lot of our youth and seeing where they fit in, how they fit in, with whom do they have chemistry, that kind of thing. That's what the rest of the season's all about.
We welcome Dominic B in the house. Welcome, Mr. Dominic B.
Welcome, Dominic.
Like we do at the beginning of the show, Mr. Notab, we ask you about what paid your attention yesterday with 12 game. Maybe you have some information you can talk about for tonight.
I thought the first thing that really stood out for me was the Ranger Winnipeg game, or not Winnipeg, Dallas game. The Rangers ended up winning that one in overtime 2-1, but they scored with just under a second. I think it was .4 officially on the clock. But it was a great battle between Ottinger and Shesterkin. I thought both teams played a playoff quality kind of game. It was very exciting. And it was great to see the Rangers come out on top on that one.
Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah, it was the definite playoff atmosphere with that. Montreal, of course, very impressive victory over Nashville. But I mean, in all fairness, they did catch Nashville at the tail end of a back-to-back. Saros did not play in net, but that's not an excuse for them. I still think Montreal came in. I thought that the presentation with PK Subban prior to the game really motivated, not just energized the crowd, but it also motivated, I thought, the players, especially with some of the words that he used in the ceremony, just to say, you know what, when I was here, I left everything on the ice and played with my heart and soul. And that's what everybody else should be doing. So it was great to see them go that direction, and they were rewarded with a victory. You could say it's a bad thing because it moves us a little bit further away from the bottom, but what we wanted was effort. We wanted a team that wasn't going to give up, and I think we saw that last night. You could arguably you can make the argument that it was probably one of their better games last night that we've seen in the year. I mean, there were a few other good ones in the year, but it definitely ranks up there in my eyes. Um, do you have any opinion on that, Coach, on the ceremony or?
No, we have something to talk about Montreal Canadiens, the recap game, then later. So I just want to,
Okay.
yeah.
The troubles continue in Vancouver. The Tampa Bay, they had to hang on in the end, but a convincing 5-4 victory. Of course, the surprise of the night, and I don't know if you can even call it a surprise anymore, was Seattle going into Boston and handing them their first regulation loss, 3-0. Seattle's really operating on full cylinders right now. Great to see from a young team. You can see that they just feed off of each other. And every time you get a victory, obviously it's very contagious for next time that they're out there. You talked already about the Leafs and Detroit. Not surprising. Detroit always plays well at home, and they always play the Leafs well at home. So, and Matthews was also out of the lineup there. It wasn't the score is a little bit more lopsided than what the game actually was, but it was a good game. Winnipeg keeps rolling. An impressive 4-2 win over the Buffalo Sabres, whose streak now I think is up to 4 losses in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So,
3.
that's 3. And I think I'm trying to think of who they have this weekend. I think they have Winnipeg tomorrow night or tonight. No, tomorrow night on Saturday. I think they have Winnipeg, or on Sunday. One of the two. That'll be a really good game. Calgary did what they had to do to stay in the playoff hunt with a victory over the St. Louis Blues. Are we to be concerned, or at least, I'm not saying panic, but should we be concerned about Colorado, Coach? Another
I always
loss.
said that all week. Everybody told me, no, no, you'll be fine. You'll be all right. You'll be good. I said, it's not the winning, the losing, it's the way they play. And I was said since for the last week, I'm concerned about that. I'm not like, because you cannot play your defenseman 28 minutes, 27 minutes, two pairing, you pair first pairing, and then you play best player 26 minutes per game. It's not going to work. So they have too
Yeah.
much differential about that. The problem is not only Colorado, it's other team around them. Like,
Well, yeah,
like
you have
they lost
the
yesterday. Calgary
Alberta
have 2
teams.
points, and then you have you know what I mean? Like yesterday, Lucky St. Louis and Nashville lost, but
Yeah.
that's the problem. Minnesota got a W yesterday.
Well, they have to get into a playoff position. Like I still maintain that they'll find their way in there. The problem is you have to think in reverse. Who's coming out of a playoff spot? So it's either got to be one of the Alberta teams, or does eventually Seattle, you know, pull something like New Jersey did earlier, where they lost about 5 or 6 in a row, and then they kind of cooled off after an absolutely fantastic start to the season. I don't know. They to me they look like they're for real Seattle, so it'll be interesting who drops off. I'm still not convinced that Nashville or St. Louis will. I mean, they'll hang around, but I don't think that they'll really they present much of a threat to overtake any of the other ones. So the question is, you got Colorado, you got Calgary, you got Edmonton, and I would throw Seattle in that equation. Two have to come
Seattle,
out.
no, 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 no. Seattle should not be a part of this conversation.
Well, we'll see, Coach. Remember, this is a,
They are
a young team.
659, Mr. Natap. 659.
Oh yes, I know. But
So they can go
there's
with
there's always
15 in the last 41 game and they still make the playoff. And the team to beat them have to go with about 28 game W and 41 game and 40 game to pass them. It's like
yeah, but
they have about
don't forget
70% chance to make the playoff right now.
I know they do, and I'm not suggesting otherwise, but I'm saying if we're looking at a team, like I'm not going to look at LA and say, okay, maybe they'll be out, because I think LA now has really solved their issue, and that was to tighten up defensively, but more importantly, they got a great goalie now in Copley, and he's answered the bell every single
But
night.
reverse your question, Mr.
Seattle
Natap. Just reverse your question. Do you believe
also.
Edmonton Calgary can put Seattle out?
Well, right now they're if you look at the wild card, right? They're what first
No, no,
and
no.
second wild card.
Seattle are number
They're
3 right
both
now.
in. No, see, yeah, in the division, but the two wild cards are both
No,
in,
no.
which are
Yeah, but my point, do you believe Edmonton Calgary can kick out Seattle from the third position?
yes, I do.
Which team?
I think they both could. That's how close it is. Like we're not talking
You,
right
you
now.
talk
It's what
about
five
close, I will
points.
say to you right now, 47
It's
point
5 points.
versus right now, Seattle 54 point. And they have
Well,
41
Calgary's
games versus that one over there. So you talk about 7 point. You have to go with 14 point before that. And both teams cannot win 3 games straight. Edmonton and Calgary.
right, but they're going to have those head-to-head games. I think that's where the difference will sort things out. Like when
Who
you play
score
and you got
after
those
Tresalo and McDavid right now for Edmonton?
well, not much. That's my point. Like at least at the beginning of the year, you had Ryan Nugent Hopkins that was having
But so
a great
that's the
year.
point. So how they can pass Seattle?
Because the scoring of Draisaitl and McDavid, let's face it, is worth 4 or 5 players from another team. If you really
Tresalo,
want to
how
put it
many
on them.
point? How many goal he has at 5 versus 5, Mr. Natap?
Okay, but
But it's
we're
not
getting on
okay.
a
At 5
different
versus 5,
topic.
Mr. Natap, you need to score. If you cannot
Well,
score, and Toronto cannot score 5 versus 5, it's not going to work. And that's the biggest problem. I'm going to talk a little bit more about analytic number they have right now. They struggle at 5 versus 5, and that reason they are barely maybe make the playoff or not. And Ken Arlen is going to maybe scratch another year in Edmonton if they don't make the playoff.
well, that's my point. I think that there's an urgency in Edmonton not to waste another year of McDavid and Draisaitl. I think it presents a lot of problems if they're not in the playoffs from an organizational point of view,
But who are
because
they going
it
to get,
would.
Mr. Natap, to helping them?
Well, for starters, they're going to get eventually Evander Kane back. I think that alone sets people in the right chairs and at the right positions, and that's what's been missing. Like we kind of ignore it and say, oh well, it's Evander Kane, like he's going to score 20, 25 goals. But it's not what he scores; it's what he does on the ice and how he puts other people in the right spots. Like Hyman stepped it up as well again. So you were looking for another scorer. There's another scorer for you if you need one. Fogley is coming back from an injury, and he'll contribute. I'm not worried about their offense. I'm more worried about their defense. I'll be honest with you, and I think that they're going to have to be one of the early teams, as well as Colorado, that addresses the trade market before it gets to the trade deadline time. Right?
Yeah,
For
but they
Colorado,
don't have nothing to
they
give
need to
them
get
back. That's the biggest problem there. Like
who, Edmonton or
you
Colorado?
can dress, but what they don't have nothing.
No, they have prospects or a draft pick that would interest some teams.
They have a first round pick. That's it. They don't have prospect, Mister. They don't have nothing. Yeah, Dylan Holloway. They're going to give that
Holloway,
Dylan
yeah.
Holloway.
If they have to for a solid defenseman, like you said it yourself, they lost Keith,
Now the
and all
only
of a
one they
sudden,
have, who you going to get and defenseman? What kind of defenseman they need? Jordan Manson is
well,
going to be the worst
don't
trade
look
they're going to make. They don't need Jordan
don't look
Manson.
further than Arizona. Don't look further than Arizona. There's somebody right there.
Which one?
Arizona, make a trade with Arizona. Go get Chikrin right now. If you're
Two
if
first
you're
round
Edmonton,
pick plus Holloway.
well, yeah, they can ask for 3 or 4, but the price has got to come down at some
But
point.
it's not going to go down. I'm sorry, it's not going to go down.
Okay, we'll
That's
have to
my
wait and
problem
see.
with Edmonton. That's why my biggest question with Edmonton is, I know they're going to make the playoff, but they're never going to pass Seattle. No one of them, Calgary, Edmonton, and right now, Calgary is in front of Edmonton in my eyes. Right now. Calgary get 3 points this week on 4 against St. Louis, going to play the Dallas throw. Look, the record, they have only lost 14 games this season, Calgary. Like they lost most of the game, the 1 point they had lost 9 times on the OT. So Calgary is
Well,
really not the
that
biggest. They are more
it's
well
still a
balanced
loss.
compared to Edmonton.
Yeah, but if you put together their overtime losses and their losses, like they have 23 losses. Like whether it's in overtime or whether it's in regulation time, it doesn't matter. Edmonton has 21, right? And they've played the same number of games. You look at their goal differential, it's pretty much the same. Look at their head to head. I think Edmonton has beaten them twice already this year. So I think Edmonton is in a slightly better position than Calgary is. Um, it's just how does Colorado get in? It's
But
got to
that's
be at
you
the
said you're going to make it. I was just said, man, I'm very concerned about them. They don't have it's right now they don't have it's not a team to make the playoff.
yeah. I still maintain we're talking about we're only at the halfway mark, and we're trying to make generalizations based on patterns. And we know that every team will go through, streaks, winning streaks, losing streaks. There's always the element of regression involved. You take Boston, you think they're going to continue at this pace the rest of the year? I think they'll lose a few games here and there. They'll come down a little bit. There's no way that they're going to play at the pace that they're doing right now. Just like New Jersey didn't do it earlier on and went on a losing streak. All of a sudden, Buffalo was hot, and all of a
Boston
sudden
never
now
going to get
they've
losing
lost three in a
six
row.
games straight, Mr. Natap.
No, it doesn't have to be six straight, but it could be they lose two out of three, and then they
Oh
win
yeah,
three
but
more,
that's
and then
not
they
big
lose
deal.
two out of three.
That's normal. That's just not. But again,
Yes,
they dominate the league completely.
yeah, but what I'm saying is you have two halves, right? The first half is over, and Boston played. I don't know what their winning percentage is, but it's got to be probably 700 or something
Now
like that.
800.
Even better. You're actually proving my point even more. Don't tell me that the second half of the season they're also going to play at 800 level. Maybe they play at 700, but there'll be some adjustment in terms of their overall play. And all teams, the point is all teams will go through this. Right now, the flavor of the month, I'll tell you, is Seattle. And I think that they're a solid team. I don't want to say anything negative about them, but they do have some holes, starting with goaltending. And so when we're looking and saying, is it going to be one of the Alberta teams that gets kicked out? I'm saying don't forget Seattle in the equation as well, because this is only their second year in the NHL. Right? And as the games become more important, how are they going to handle the pressure of those kind of games? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I'm not an expert. I can't pull out my crystal ball and predict. But I just feel I've seen enough over the course of many years that you see adjustments being made all the time. Then on top of that, you got to throw in what are teams going to do at the trade deadline time? Because picking up one or two players right now in the West, any team that does that could put them over the top. Like it really magnify their chances of getting in the playoffs or winning the division or finishing in the top three in the division, whatever the case might be. Of course, injuries, but that's again, that's an ingredient that's out there for any team. You can lose a key player. Of course, if Edmonton were to lose McDavid tomorrow, you know, right away tomorrow we'd be saying, well, Edmonton's the one that's going to be out. Of course.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
only
you know what I mean. Like it's assumed. Like you know what I mean. Like tonight, Seattle is better team like Edmonton, Calgary.
yes,
The reason
up to
Seattle
now,
will
yes.
Seattle you can put you have the goaltender and Seattle cannot be worse. They're already at 890 and they're still winning because they are 5 versus 5 because they have four lines they can score. Why they dominate on the first number one with more goal even strength. When they have those kind of number and the percentage shooting is the top best three in NHL. And when you have this, everybody said the defense is not good. They shoot out Boston yesterday. They gave 2 goals in the last 3 games. They have to shoot out on the road. If you win on the road, you're going to be fine. They won the first 6 games or the 9 games on the road. They don't go. Seattle don't go nowhere. I know they're going to make the playoff. They're going to make the Stanley Cup. But Seattle right now, they don't go nowhere. The way they play, the way they perform, it's just showing exactly a team make the playoff. They have everything about this, and the worst thing they have is the
Yeah.
goaltender. They have 4 goals per game on the road.
It's a big
That,
if. That's a big deficiency. I think Edmonton learned that last year. Without a goalie, it's hard to win.
well, but they make the playoff.
Yeah, they did. They did. Thanks to at the end, Smith got into a little bit of a hot streak, and it's
But
half. All I'm
yeah, but I
saying,
would say
coach,
to you,
is
yeah,
it's
but
half.
Edmonton can add someone. Seattle can get
Yes,
Tarasenko or they can get Ryan O'Reilly.
they could. Yes, you're right. Absolutely. And if
So
that happens, then it increases their odds. I'm just saying it's only half the season. So we're just speculating at this point. I don't think we can. There are some things we can say definitively, but other things like exactly who's going to get in there, it's a little bit too early, and there's too many factors involved that could alter our decisions and our choices.
All right, we want to welcome Rand Kirk is in the house. Welcome back. Double J is in the house. RJ Calabro knocked the door. We have William McClay. We talk about him a little bit over. The league played at Boston there, this weekend. Bill, welcome aboard. Adam Berger, welcome aboard. Thanks to be with us tonight. Rick Bengal, we mentioned him. Pierre Martin knocked the door. Welcome aboard, Pierre Martin. And Zep Lecab knocked the door. Thanks so much to be with us tonight. And then do we have other people? Bill, we talk about Bill. And then we have a lot of people talk each other, so that's pretty good. Can we have a long recovery because it's an injury? And then we have, no, they all talk each other, so that's pretty good about this. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. We appreciate a lot. Here we go. We have a couple of things to talk about around the league. First of all, the recap game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Nashville Predators. The final score 4-3 for the Montreal Canadiens. Caulfield to goal, 3 assists. Montembeault save, face to 42 shot. Sarkowski's best game of the year with the most TOI. And the ceremony of Piquet Subban, Mr. ENORTAP. Mark 536 and goal. Both of them knocked the door. Welcome aboard.
Welcome, guys.
What do you think about the game overall?
The Montreal, I think we spoke about it a little bit earlier. I thought that they showed a lot of gusto in that game. The effort was there. Montembeault put up I think he had around 42 shots on net and played a very good game himself. I thought that they had some good balanced scoring. It wasn't just Caulfield with the 2 goals, but we saw Doc finally score again, which was great to see. Evans had the first goal of the game. So they had plenty of other opportunities as well. Like you said, Drouin with the 3 assists was a positive thing to see as well. Overall, I thought it was a good game. But again, we saw a little bit of a Nashville team that was at the tail end of a long road trip and without Saros in net, which makes a difference in my eyes.
It was great to see the rookie Askarov 11 round pick draft 2020, 20 years old only, to start his first game of the season, first game of career in NHL at the Bell Center. I think they was pretty good about this one over there, for sure. Nobody talk about this. They have a really big meeting between the players and the coach Wednesday morning after the practice between inside the locker room between the Montreal Canadiens. Martin St. Louis met the team, and they talk about what they at, what they're looking for, and what they are looking for the rest of the second half of the season. And that's maybe paid the evidence. I don't know, but they get out of the, they fixed what they was the biggest problem for the last couple of weeks. Talking about the first period, they have a solid first period. I think the show was 18-9. Then after that, they fixed the special team. They have a really good night of the special team. The defensive zone coverage was pretty good. And at the end, I think that the fans of the Montreal Canadiens was the winner of that game because they got everything. The 2 goals, Caulfield, a very solid performance of Sarkowski, a big fight of Albert Jacquet, and all in plus they have Piquet Subban at the end of the ceremony where it was the Piquet Subban at the end. Well done for the Montreal Canadiens to about Subban. I think he was an excited player. The great speech he did to the Montreal Canadiens, for the players and then for the fans about the jersey and everything. So it was really sweet about this before the game, during the game, and then I hope they'd have not more 5 more minutes because I think that should be tied the game. But again, one we don't talk yesterday is about that on this is Suzuki. 2 an amazing, great pass. I think the first pass on the first goal, it was amazing, great pass to Caulfield. Caulfield, again, from his office, scored 2 goals about this. And Askarov, of course, you can see he's not ready to play in the NHL. Too many things you have to polish in front of him, but he's going to be a star in NHL. You need to work on the many things, but you can see the kind of, I like the way he fight. Again, you know what I mean? Like he's a fighter where he does not afraid, everything like that. You need to work on the second lane, the rebound.
And very athletic.
The track, the park. You can see he's not ready. So
Yeah, he's very athletic, I thought.
athletic is a great way to see that for sure. So will be interesting. I think overall Montreal can pick it up.
And
There's
don't
some kind of
forget,
deal about this game, but it will be difficult this weekend. Islanders Saturday, Rangers Sunday, 3 game and
yeah.
4 night, and yeah, that's pretty much what we got on that game over there. Some people talk each other, so that's great
And
to see that.
don't forget, coach, the surprise visit by Carey Price. That was very that was
Yeah,
very nice
Carey
to
Price
see
pop
him
up. It's
present.
funny because they did the 3-5-0. They called it like you know what I mean, the gesture they did.
Three
It's
low.
just what we had today. It remind me when they did this in a couple of years ago, right? He became a distraction. A lot of people that was upset about this. Just give you an idea how the hockey is. Piquet Subban pop up in hockey, guys, 10 years earlier. Imagine Piquet Subban today at 23 years old playing the NHL right now with the Instagram, with the TikTok, and with all the social media. He would be a superstar in NHL, Mr. Nata. That's how he is. That's what he is. It was just 10 years younger, earlier. Imagine today, the five,
He's
like
ahead of
happening
his
with the
time.
Carolina Hurricane, the storm after after the game. But that's what he did, both of them, Subban
Yeah.
and but it was not in the philosophy of the Montreal Canadiens. It's just what they happening there. And I think for me, you can see the development of Zegras and all those young stars that bring those kind of the excitement before the game, after the game, during the game, the Michigan goal and everything like that. You have some people say, oh my God, this is the worst thing you can see in hockey. It's just that people have to move on with what's going on in the evolution of the hockey on business side, marketing side, and everything. So I think that would be great to see Carey Price jumping there at the end. And the fact he talked about Miss Béliveau,
Absolutely.
Jean Béliveau, and Elise Béliveau, I think it was really well done by them.
And even the fact that he brought I mean, this was his evening, but he still went to the hospital and brought one of his young friends there that he met and gave her a lifetime experience being in front of the entire crowd. That was really classy thing to do.
That was the Piqué Subban, like we said earlier, with his dress and that
Yeah.
great what he gave it then. At news, Mr. Notap, Jake Allen have a ready, is ready, well, almost ready. We'll be interesting. It's a game decision right now for him for the weekend. We know they go back to back game with Montembeau. So Primo's still in the team. At least something changed right now, but look like he's going to be, and Allen will be a game decision. Madison wearing, like Ellen said in the chat, wearing a real regular jersey, so he's knocked the door to be very close to come back. And they have a trip to New York for the sushi, Mr. Notap. Saturday night at the Islanders. It's Sunday afternoon, I believe the game starts at 5 o'clock. So I just want to
I
mention
think
this to
so.
you about this for that one over there. And then we have the dark age of the Zevlakav, if we go everything. So the next thing we want to talk about is NHL news around the league. The Vancouver Canucks, Mr. Natal, was to give you a couple of information what's going on around the league, guys. Is Vancouver Canucks, a lot of drama. Since the beginning of the season, Mr. Natal, this is the housewife acting at Vancouver, I would call it. They should make a show with that
Housewives,
happening. If it's
British
not the
Columbia.
coach, it's the GM. It's not the GM, it's the players. If it's not the player, it's someone else. It's just been that way, Mr. Natap, since the beginning of the season. Yesterday,
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one happening. Yesterday, Quinn Hughes, very calm guy, very quiet guy, don't talk a lot about this. And then he talked about the fact like the mid-skull staff of the Vancouver Canucks maybe screw the injury of Todd Pearson out of the season now, possibly go for the third time for a surgery for
Third,
his
yeah.
wrist. So this is another
That's right.
big story about Vancouver Canucks. And then the more conversation about the fact Rick Tocchet could be, around the team. It could be the negotiation is already done. They've been in more intense the last couple of days. I think right now it's fixed. It's done deal for Rick Tocchet. Now it's all about Vancouver Canucks. They have to take the decision or not about the coaching staff, about the coaching head coach. So will be really interesting about this. a couple of weeks they have to move on. They out of the playoff right now. Don't go there. They're not going to make it. And then they have to figure out with all that Brock Bowser and what kind of direction they're going to do. And so something there will be things to talk about for the next couple of weeks. But again, another drama with the Vancouver Canucks. I just want to mention this, Mr. ENORTAP. Colorado,
Yeah,
we just talked
definitely.
about them a little bit earlier. So the Colorado again, they lost against Chicago. Red flag over there. They, if I don't know if they're going to the next 2 weeks, we'll tell them if Joe Sakic is going to be aggressive or not. But again, the window, it's another year without if you don't make it with McKinnon, and I don't see that way. But it reminds me, and of course, the team are not the same. But Montreal Canadiens, after they make the final, they never been the same thing. They lose Price and Perry, Weber, and everything like that, right? That's been happening with them. They lose a lot of player injuries for Colorado and feel like they try to catch up, but again, another injury every single time. And they missed too many pieces of the puzzle, Mr. Natap, to fix right now. They cannot win with the team they have right now. It's not going to happen.
No, and they did. I mean, we did already comment on the fact that they weren't as rich as they were last year in terms of centermen. They lost Kadri. They lost quite a bit there. He was probably at that time the second or the best second line defenseman in the league, and he's proven his worth as well in Calgary. So you couple that with the injuries, and they haven't addressed that center position, and it does spell a little bit of concern.
Yep, about
Yeah,
this.
he did allude to it, but it's so I meant a surprise more in the sense that it was a welcome. Maybe I should have used the word welcome, the addition to the ticket.
Absolutely about this. Seattle Kraken, guys, you talk about this. They're on the road, six straight on the road right now. They have 17th front player with 1 point during that trip over there. They have 13th front scorer during that trip. They don't give only to go the last 3 games. And which player, Mr. Natal, have the most point during that trip?
McCann, maybe.
Vince Dunn.
Oh, Vince Dunn. Okay, yeah, he was. That was my second choice, William.
So, of course, you have always your second option. Always been the best decision you take in your life. Your second option, but yeah. So the Southern Kraken consists of doing this very well. Will be interesting. They have a big game in the end of the trip, Mr. Nota. They play one game at home, then they return to go to Edmonton. It will be really interesting to watch this game. But what a performance yesterday against Boston Bruins to win that W over there. And then Edmonton Oilers, we just talked about them a couple of minutes ago, and. It's a thing we're going to follow up about this. A lot of conversation that chat. We welcome everybody. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. That'd be awesome. Let's move on for more things to talk about, Mr. Natap. We're supposed to go that way, Mr. Natap. The first halfway, what are you want to do? Now, what we're going to do, Mr. Natap, we got together tonight. So maybe bring that question tonight. Does it
Okay,
make sense?
makes sense. Absolutely,
A
it
couple of
merits
injuries yesterday.
conversation.
Adam Berger was on Facebook earlier talk about this. Max Stone is a weeks to weeks right now, Mr. Natap. So it's another blue. They come back
Yeah,
yesterday. Very good
bad
game.
news.
Again, the Vegas inventors last night. And Stone week to week. Matthew is a game decision. Uh, it's a hockey night in Canada tonight, so maybe we'll be ready with that game, and that's usually happening. Chicago, Patrick Kane, guys, I mentioned this a couple of days ago. This is a really interesting conversation, what are you going to do with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Tate for Chicago the next couple of weeks. I still believe Kane don't go nowhere.
Yeah, it's possible. You might be right.
I still believe he will be around about this. I will to say down GB about this. A big game for Drouin. Nashville, 3 assists. You're absolutely right about this. The NHL transactions is a new content we're going to bring everybody when you have a couple of players to, we know who they are in Impact. Jack Quinn called up for the American Hockey League, and the Buffalo returned Peter Krebs today or yesterday. Nashville returned after the game Askarov to the Milwaukee. The Chicago returned Rickel, and then the Winnipeg called up Harkins. It could be Arvins, and then they sent back the Enola for American Hockey League. So that's pretty much, Mr. ENORTAP, for what we have tonight around order. The fact like not many things with only 3 games on the program, so it's not a big deal. But Mr. ENORTAP, we want to welcome 2 people. First of all, we want to welcome Jarmo Virtanen and John Mickelson for the great performance yesterday, 9-3. And so let's put them and where, Mr. ENORTAP?
On that bus.
Congratulations for Mr. Jarmo and John. Thanks to congratulations. Well, no have do we have a Jill, Mr. ENORTAP, yesterday?
I think there was, yeah, or I can't remember right now, but
Yes, we have one, Mr. ENORTAP. You should remember.
One.
We have
No,
one.
I don't remember right now.
You
I don't
remember
want to
now,
spoil
right?
the
So let
surprise.
me pick up this right now here, but I have to get the sound effect, Mr. ENORTAP. I apologize for that one. It was not really, really well. But it's time to get the bag because we have only one, and we're going to get that person for, I believe it's the second time. I could be wrong, but he's going to be today. I will put him right now on the Danny T cell tonight. I think it's clean up now. It's really well. It's the Wi-Fi is upgrade over there, so he's going to get an upgrade for tonight, Mr. ENORTAP. And we talk about who, Mr. ENORTAP?
Mr. Double J.
Double J is going to be the only one on the for the weekend. That says the bad news for the weekend. The good news, guys, for everybody, we don't have no jail for Monday night because we have only 3 games. That's the rule from the Deloitte Smith verification, and they decide they have that kind of rule. We have only 3 games. We don't put anybody in the jail, Mr. ENORTAP. So that's what's happening
You know
about
what the
this.
problem is, eh?
A lot of conversation in the chat, guys, and we're going to go back at 9 o'clock. We invite you guys. We'll talk about Montreal Canadiens. We'll talk about NHL, the awards. If you do your bracket NHL playoff. Oh, by the way, Mr. ENORTAP, we have to. I forgot about this. This is my fault. You guys in the chat, you have to send an email to ENORTAP. Who is going to win the Super Bowl? And you have to send this weekend. So you can wait until, you don't have to wait. Well, you can wait if you want to give you the weekend if you want to take it because you have elimination this weekend. But this answer have to be done before Monday night for you Monday. All right. We're going to give you for the weekend. So the thing will be dropped. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? And the winner of the Super Bowl, Mr. ENORTAP, get a free pass at the jail.
Always a catch, eh, Coach?
All right, yeah. Listen, I'll give you more job to do that for you. So it was that about that one.
Sure, no problem.
Here we go.
My
Here we
pleasure.
go. 3 games on the program, Mr. ENORTAP.
I'm disappointed you didn't lock up Double J in jail.
Oh, we did not do it. All right, are you ready?
Are you ready? Open. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Here we go. We just locked up Mr. Because he was not yet in, Mr. ENORTAP. He was just because we have, I don't know if you know, we have a new cell. It's called, like I said, the Danny T. And Danny T, you have a couple of doors before you go all the way inside of the cell for the weekend. So you have to go trust the, we have the checkpoint. We talk about this. First, you have to give back his clothes. And then after that, you have to go be sure he's not anything like knife, everything like that. And then after that, you have to get there. We give them their phone because their phone is the only way they can text people and they give you your prediction of the night, everything like that. But otherwise, they wear the orange clothes, everything like that. And of course, they have all kind of food they can get. So it's a process. But we apologize. But now he is locked out in 72 hours, Mr. ENORTAP.
It's okay. It was just a reminder, Coach. That's all.
No, that's good. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh, well. Okay, so the Jets they picked up a win over the Sabres on Thursday, and now they travel to Pittsburgh for tonight's matchup against the Penguins. I think they have a great record. They've been playing some fantastic hockey. They have a very talented lineup. But they're some would say they're overperforming. I'd say, you know what, maybe if you look at the metrics and you look at what they've achieved, I might agree with that statement. But I think we talked about this yesterday a little bit. The fact that Bonus came in and has brought a whole different atmosphere to the team, a whole new feel. They want to play together when it looked like it was an accident waiting to happen in Winnipeg. You got to give him credit, and you got to give Hellebuck credit because he's back to Vezina style goaltending. So they right now sit just behind the Stars in the Central Division. They deserve credit for their strong play. You've got now guys like Connor that have gotten hot, Shifley scoring, Wheeler's come back recently from an injury, Perfetti's starting to step up a bit. Morrissey is having a fantastic Norris type of season. I like what I'm seeing here. The only thing why I'm going to take Pittsburgh tonight, Coach, is because A, Pittsburgh's at home. B, Winnipeg is on a back-to-back. And C, they have Rittich that is going to be starting in net tonight. And I'm a little bit scared that he's in net for Winnipeg. I'm not convinced that Rittich is the answer over there. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win this game by a score of 3-2.
3-2, Mr. Natap. I will go with D, Mr. Natap. D, because I listen to you, and I would take Pittsburgh 4-3. Oh, we are welcome back, okay. Mr. Aiden Sesemski. Welcome aboard. Thanks to be with us, Aiden. We have a lot of people.
Welcome,
and
Aiden.
Thanks so much. And Mr. Danny T, knock the door. When we talk about Danny, he pop up at the right time. And then Double J, I know you're in the jail right now, but you can give us your score of the night. If you don't mind, that'd be good. About this, Bill consistently gave us to us. I take a note of your score. I will give it to ENORTAP a little bit later about that, Mr. ENORTAP. So you pick up my score.
Got it.
All right, game number 2. And honestly, tonight, Mr. ENORTAP, everybody should win at least a minimum 2-1.
Yeah, we've said that before, Coach. It doesn't always materialize.
No, we have. You know what? If you look about a record,
it should be. It should be.
If you look the record of Friday night, we're not good. The Friday night we struggle, Mr. ENORTAP. Look, your records the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. The Friday night we got burned a lot, and.
Oh well, we'll see. I agree. They on paper they seem like pretty obvious choices. Here, speaking about on paper, this would appear to be a mismatch of a game. The Devils have shown that their early season dominance was really no fluke at all. They took down the Rangers and Carolina in their most recent victories, but it's more than just that. They brought them back within. I think they're within 2 points now of Carolina again for first place in the Metro. The Ducks, they were just smashed by a score of 6-2 at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers. Nothing surprising with that. You had Draisaitl, McDavid that were on full tilt that night. However, they're not going to get any breaks against New Jersey. You got Jack Hughes, that's been probably one of the best skaters in the NHL this year, and alongside Nico Hischier and Jasper Bratt. They make a formidable threesome. They've been very, very good. The Ducks, they commit a lot of mistakes. They turn over the puck a lot, is what I'm seeing. But more importantly, they've committed the second most penalties in the league. And when you give teams like previous to this Edmonton and tonight New Jersey, who also has a very potent offense, the opportunity of the power play, they're going to capitalize, and I fear that's going to be part of the equation here tonight is the special teams. So I'm going to take New Jersey to win this game by a score of 5-2.
Sonatap took New Jersey Devils by the score 5-2. Tokarski is the goaltender for Pittsburgh, by the way, tonight.
Not the Smith?
No.
Okay.
Do you change your score?
Never.
All right. New Jersey 5-1, Mr. Sonatap.
New Jersey 5-1. Got it.
Got it. All right.
And last but not least is the Edmonton Oilers against the San Jose Sharks. I believe it's Campbell against Reimer tonight. The Sharks, they're returning home after a 4-3 defeat at the hands of the Kings on Wednesday night. The Sharks, they're sitting in 7th in the Pacific. With only 3 wins in their last 11 games, the Sharks will more than likely be in contention for the draft lottery than anything else at the end of the year. In the meantime, the team is going to look to probably move somebody like Erik Karlsson, who's having a great year so far. He's got 56 points in 43 games. So we'll see what they get from that, if anything, in terms of the trade. I think McDavid coming in tonight is going to be, probably picking up where he left off in the last game. He's been very hot lately. They're a team that lives by the power play. They have to treat this game as a must win. Edmonton does. So I think they'll answer the bell, and I'll take Edmonton to win this one by a score of 4-3.
Whoa, 4-3?
Yeah, I think it'll be a closer than we think.
Why?
Well, San Jose plays well at home.
No. San Jose play bad at home. 4-win, Mr. Sonatap.
I think you're thinking of Anaheim. Anaheim plays poorly at home.
Yes.
But maybe you're right. What'd you take? 5-2?
Yeah.
5-2?
Anaheim have 8W at home. Yep, so right. It's Anaheim you talk about.
Yeah.
Yep. So, so I go with 5-2, Mr. Sonatap. I think we'll be a little bit more open up for that one there. Mr. Bill, if you can give us the last score of the night, so we're going to put you on the contest with everybody else. And that's happening about this. I can't wait to see the leaderboard next week, Mr. Sonatap. We're going to produce
Bill, make sure you send it to the email address, and that way do it on a nightly basis, except for the weekends. We don't do the predictions on the weekends.
Yep, it would be great. Mr. William Snyder knocked the door. Welcome aboard, Mr. William Snyder.
Hey,
people
William.
pop up tonight. Great to see you. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like before you leave the building. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. And we have 4 minutes to go, Mr. Sonatap. Tonight we're going to be back at 9 o'clock. I did not talk with Michael and Bill yet with Randy, but it would be interesting about this. Bill said the orders, Mr. Sonatap, 4-3. People listen to you, Mr. Sonatap. It's unbelievable. You are the god, and not the goat, the god of the prediction for the Hockey International.
Oh, sure. I don't think so, but here we go.
Not a problem. So 9 o'clock, Mr. Sonatap, we're going to be back together for sure. We have time, Mr. Sonatap. You don't believe it. We have time.
We're under.
Are you ready?
Under the clock? Okay.
Are you ready?
Do it.
Hockey Pound overtime, Mr. Sonatap. It's time to talk about this, Mr. Sonatap.
Go ahead. What
is the Hockey Pound? So my suggestion, it's funny. I always have those kind of ID and everything like that. So I feel and over time now it's getting boring because they have the coach found a way now to build the kind of strategy on overtime. And where they turn around, they wait, they get out the zone, they come back, they get out, and now they want to put other team tired, everything like that. But I feel for me, I think it would be time to not have no line. Like you go on the pound and you play hockey. You can't leave, I don't know, Tresalo beside the net talking like with a goaltender and then a stretch pass and then you go like this. I think for me, that's the reason I would say, are you agree with my idea, hockey pound for the overtime? Now, you think like as fans, you'll be
So
excited, great, and fun to have those kind of situation hockey pound.
so are you suggesting no offsides?
No
If
outside.
I
No,
hear
no, no blue line. It's
no.
just
Oh
go.
wow.
No, go, go, go. Hockey pound.
Oh wow. Well, I don't know. It's getting even more and more gimmicky, I guess.
They'd be more excited.
Maybe,
Because right
but
now
I
it's not
mean,
excited. They just get out. They just turn around. They go back up. And then they
well,
turn back in. And they go back up again. And then the new players coming to the bench. And then they chin. And then they wait. So I think at the beginning, you have
I
no
think it's
structure, right?
strategic.
The coach, you have no clue what to do. But now it's so much structure. They wait for the perfect situation.
Well, I think that's sort of an offset of the fact that initially they learned from the 3-on-3 play, and what was happening is a lot of times a team would take a shot, the puck goes around the corner, and then you lose possession of the puck, and the other team comes around, either has a two on one or a clear cut breakaway, and they usually score and end the game. So I think they've gone more in terms of strategy now, and
LUCIANO
I
said,
don't
Mr.
think
Antap,
it's
a 4 versus 4. No offside.
um, makes it even harder, 4-on-4 than 3-on-3. But I don't mind the 3-on-3. I think that there's excitement to it. I think there's that strategy element. Maybe you think it's boring. They're going in, they're coming out, but they're also balancing a lot of things. They're sort of, they know it's about puck possession. Number one, right? The longer you have the puck and you're skating around, the more you're going to make the defensive opponent a little bit more tired. You're also looking at line changes, which are extremely important, and when to make that pass when a change is being made and you earn a bit of an advantage. Um,
And
I
then
don't
I
think
would
it's
not.
bad
I
as
would
it
add
is,
one
but
more, Mr. Antap. You cannot changing the players during the face-off,
blindfolded.
during the whistle,
Uh, oh
only
boy,
on the fly.
you're gonna keep guys like McDavid on there for 5 minutes, aren't you?
But my point is like you have to change only on the fly so you can your element to turn around it to keep them tired. Does it make sense to you? So if
Yeah, I
you have a
understand. I
stop right
understand.
there, now the goalie have to think twice. Now, if I stop the puck, my player cannot change. So it's another element. I'm telling you now, Gary Bettman, what's my phone? My phone, I don't know what's my phone. He should call me right now. I think I should be the next commissioner of the league. Hockey pound, 4 versus 4. I would go to give this to Luciano. I would give him the credit on TV at Luciano. He got that idea. And then I'm going to add no whistle, no change, only on the fly, Mr. Natap.
Well, why don't we throw a little bit of basketball element in there, and that the team has to bring the puck up before 10 seconds, and once they pass center ice, they can never come
That's
back
other
beyond
things. You
center
cannot
ice.
control the puck for over 10 seconds. So you have to shoot the
Oh,
puck every
yeah.
10 seconds, clockwise. And one can add the red line, Mr. Natap. You cannot cross the red line like the basketball. You have
Yeah,
to have
yeah,
5 seconds to
exactly.
cross the red line.
Otherwise, change your possession.
Yeah, and why not no goalies?
Oh, sure.
Maybe
How about here's
a bit
here's
deeper
something
on that
else.
one.
How
We
about
can. I have to look about a little
you
bit more about
cannot
this, Mr. Natap.
how about you cannot play any of your first or second line players? You can only
Well,
play your
that's a bit
third and
another
fourth
one. We're not
liners.
to no goalies, but we have to put targets. So you have to score on the target. If you don't hit the target, you have no goal. You hit the net in the middle, you put the puck behind the net, and we restart and we go all the way up, Mr. Natap.
Sounds great.
I think we should
Propose it.
change
Go
the
ahead.
rule on that one, whatever. So that we
You
passed
propose
the
it,
seven
coach.
o'clock, Mr. O'clock, Mr. That, but we want to finish the show with what are you looking for this, and not for tonight, but for the weekend too, Mr. Natap. I apologize, we passed the time a little bit, but it's okay.
No, that's fine. That's
Bill
fine.
said no referee.
No referees. No penalties, nothing.
Here we go, Mr.
Last
Natap.
man standing is the winner, right?
Yeah. What pay your attention during
Yeah.
the night or the weekend?
Well, I think we have a Calgary-Dallas matchup on Saturday, as well as Toronto and Boston, which is very intriguing as well. So we'll see. Those two games really stand out to me.
Yep, so right about this. Maybe a dumb knee goalie, that would be good. Or a fence dressed as a goalie could be jumping on the ice. That would be another suggestion about this. Mr. Natap, I forgot to mention to you,
driver.
the NHL released the half-season draft NHL prospect. So we're going to have a segment tonight talking about the top American players and the top North America and European tonight, Mr. Natap. And I will work on this. But we'll be back tonight at 9 o'clock for everybody. Don't forget to join us, Mr. Natap, and maybe other will be join us. At the coach play and overtime, Mercedes have a little magic. And why not the coach play on the ice, Mr. Natap, for overtime?
Okay, I'll take Martin St. Louis on my team.
Here we go.
You are awesome.
That's why we call you ENORTAP, the GOAT.
Amazing. You are the best. And remember,
Right there.
you have greatness inside of you.
What another great weeks together, Mr. Natap, on the 2023 warm-up show. We're going to be back Monday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 9 o'clock tonight, and we do the play-by-play games on the weekend. The Montreal Canadiens play back-to-back game. We're going to do live play-by-play commentary. Until then, Mr. Natap, we want to remind everybody, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, find a way to dominate the first half of what?
You're 2023.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Natap. Don't forget to click on the like before you leave the building and subscribe to Hockey Nation Live Show. If you're not sharing this on your social media, Mr. Natap, we wish you an amazing, great weekend. I can't wait to see you at 9 o'clock tonight.
Sounds great. Good night, everyone.